Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at an article from The Guardian that was published on the 21st of February. It's written by Jessica Glenza here from New York. All I got to say is both The Guardian and this woman right here are lying sacks of shit, fake news pushing scumbags with what they're doing in this article. They link other articles that supposedly say what they're claiming here, and you go through them, and they don't say that, okay? The sources that she's using, besides The Guardian, friggin' the SPL freaking C, Media Matters, and the BBC, okay. All fake news pushing pieces of shit. All lying sacks of shit. All scumbags. All right, lefty and far left and leftist scumbags, I should say, is proof of what they're trying to say here. Anyway, the multi-million-dollar Christian group attacking LGBTQ plus rights. Now, when we go to a couple of these source things, I'll go to the article, and then I'll tell you what it actually said. And I might actually give an example or two and show what they're trying to say is what, you know, making out the ADF, what they're trying to say makes the ADF out to be, to quote Bobby Boucher's mother, the devil. The devil. Okay. Now, this is all over the fact that these people are trying to make it so that trans boys who have become girls, even though there's only two physical sexes, aka genders, they used to be used interchangeably until this idea of, you know, doing these different studies programs. And when you got into gender studies, they said, oh, gender's a construct. And all the research is based off of a twin study where the twin that they, you know, raised a girl killed him, herself because of what that demented piece of shit did to him. You know, but hey. You know, let's just leave that type of stuff out when we're talking about gender studies and you're saying gender's a construct. Because Jessica is a dumb broad. That's right, I called you a dumb broad. Deal with it. Not like she's actually going to watch this, but anyways. So yes, this is about Connecticut and the fact of letting trans athletes in that are kicking the shit out of actual girls. That's what started this hit piece. Alliance Defending Freedom reportedly got $55 million in donations in 2018 and has lawyers worldwide working against LGBTQ people. You mean, how about we frame this accurately? Working against the fact of them trying to become a privileged class. Because that would be more apt and accurate. Thank you very much. I'll thank you very much. Anyway, a group of about 24 people, mostly women, stood on the steps of the Connecticut Capitol on a New England winter day with signs reading, "Protect women's sports and fair play." Yeah, nothing wrong with that. But you try to make it sound like they're evil. In front stood Christina Holcomb, an attorney with the Alliance Defending Freedom, the conservative Christian legal group representing 3 cis teen girls, in a lawsuit filed this month demanding 2 transgender teen girls be barred from competing in female high school sports division. Yes, because they're kicking the shit out of all the girls, those 2 boys that decided one day, I'm a girl. All right, and the fact that you got to put in cis teen girls, you mean actual girls. Let's be accurate here. You mean real girls are upset that boys that think they're girls or believe they're girls are kicking the shit out of them in high school sports and want that to stop. And their parents want it to stop. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just because they've decided to go from being a he to a she does not mean that they have the right to compete with actual she's when they have a physical advantage. Because then, you know what? If a boy wants to get a scholarship to freaking college, all he's got to do is say, shit, I'm a girl, get a fucking wig, and then go and start running girls track, and boom, he's got a fucking college scholarship. How is that fair to the girls? It isn't. And that's one of the points about this, among many. Girls deserve to compete on a level playing field, and the Connecticut policy now allows males to compete in the girls category if they identify as female. Holcomb later told The Guardian, no amount of hormone therapy can ever fully undo those physiological advantages, which is a fact that if Joe Rogan wasn't the person he was and where he is on the social ladder of, famedom, we'll say, he would have been destroyed for what he said about that because of Fallon Fox, I believe that's her name, kicking the ever-loving shit out of actual women in MMA. Not because, better woman, because that's a man, baby. Oh, God, that was kind of a cross between Elvis and Austin Powers. Yeah, baby. That's even better. I used to be able to do Austin. What the fuck? But yeah, that's a man, baby. This video is probably going to get freaking yanked on YouTube. Oh, well. But the lawsuit is just one arrow in ADF's quiver. A conservative Christian powerhouse working internationally to remake laws governing family, sex, and marriage in a vision which keeps the doors open for the gospel. No! They're actually trying to stop you leftist shit pigs from fucking moving the goalpost and creating privileged fucking classes. And forcing people to do things against their religious fucking convictions. Jesus Christ, you scummy, dishonest, sleazy piece of shit, Jessica. That's your name again, right? Yeah, Jessica. You sleazy bitch. You sleazy lefty bitch. ADF, which reportedly received more than $55 million in contributions in 2018, claims to have more than 3,400 affiliated attorneys and judges worldwide. In the 25 years since it was founded, it has brought 10 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court, including some of the most consequential cases of the last decade on contraceptive and gay rights. Oh no! They said because of religious fucking convictions, someone shouldn't be forced to do something? Because you say so? Oh no! This is so fucking sad. This is fake news hit piece bullshit, but the lefties are going to eat it up. Then they're going to buy all this bullshit, and they're not going to go and click the links. But if they did, they'd go, it's the SPLC or it's Media Matters, and they would go, they must have got them saying that, which even if they supposedly did, the way Media Matters and the SPLC lie, they probably didn't say it in the first place. But yeah, okay. ADF is an aggressive strategic legal group that is about Christian supremacy and hegemony in the U.S. and in the world, said Frederick Clarkson, a senior research analyst with Political Research Associates. It's the world under God's law. No, that's not what they are. This is a complete and total misrepresentation. They basically want it so that as Christians, they're right. To worship as Christians is not fucking infringed upon. So heaven fucking forbid that they stand up to pieces of shit like you and say, this is the line, you're not crossing it. Deal with it. Oh no, you can't, because you think tolerance and all this other shit is abusing Christians. Oh, well, they're just Christians. They're just uneducated. Oh, they're just Christians. They just have religious dogma. We'll beat that out of them. That's how you see it. The group's work against LGBTQ plus people let's actually make that right. This group's work against the LGBTQ AEIOU and sometimes Y crowd has led experts on extremism at the Southern Poverty Law Center to label them a hate group. ADF rejects this label. Now, this is what's funny is the SPLC, lying little shitbag pieces of shit that got sued and lost on labeling people, and their organizations as people as racist or whatever they were doing. It was an Islamic guy. They said he was an Islamophobe, all this other shit. He sued. He won. What the hell's his name? They've done this with organizations, and they've lost. I'm not going to trust them. And the ADF has a right to reject that label. Okay. Now this is where we start to get into the interesting things. One of its most famous recent cases was of a baker in Colorado who refused to make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple. Yeah. He said, I'll bake you any other type of cake, but I'm not going to bake a cake for your wedding. It goes against my religious belief and principle. The whole idea of free association and religious freedom guaranteed under the First Amendment. And they also leave out the fact, Jessica here leaves out the fact that those two lesbians, they specifically targeted that baker. This came out. Knowing full well of his religious convictions and that he would deny to bake the cake just so they could sue and make money to pay for to pay for their wedding and their honeymoon and shit. They said this. But we'll leave that little tidbit out of the article because it doesn't fit with your narrative. The group argued baking was his form of artistic expression, which it is, and he won. Yeah. Okay. Anyone who's watched these cake baking shows where they bake the elaborate fucking cakes, it's artistic. How is that wrong for an assessment? Oh, you just don't like the fact that it was like two lesbians were like, you're going to suck our strap on and you're going to bake us a fucking cake. And he went, no, I'm not. And they went, yeah, you are. And the state of Colorado went, yeah, you are. And he went, no, I'm not. And fought it. And the court went, no, he's not going to bend down, start sucking your fucking strap on, and go against his religious beliefs. Oh, poor babies. The group argued baking was his form. Yeah, sorry. In another, the group successfully argued the arts and crafts company Hobby Lobby should not be required to pay for birth control included in private insurance plans because of the owner's Christian faith. Yes, they shouldn't have to. Number one, they shouldn't have to pay for birth control for anyone at all. I don't care. Any business shouldn't have to pay for fucking birth control. This is what I don't understand. They go, oh, well, these companies should pay for birth control. Who's the only one that benefits from birth control being paid for? Women. Because they ain't paying for condoms for men. That's like one of the only forms of birth control men have at this point. So heaven forbid that if men got to pay for their own birth control, women have to pay for it too. Oh no, we can't have that. That's the idea of a privileged class. Women getting free birth control when men got to pay for their own. And when you're Christian, birth control is a sin. They should not have to be part of a sin. Deal with it. ADF counts the former Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions as an ally, and its founders are a who's who list of opponents of gay rights, and this American group is busy abroad too. You haven't proved they're against gay rights. You talk shit and have nothing to back it up. As recently as last month, ADF was working actively with students in the United Kingdom defending anti-abortion protesters whose graphic signs concerned the University of Cardiff. Okay. It's this article right here. These are the signs. We're here to help, not judge. 40 days for life and a baby in the mother. So, yeah. Oh no, they're instead of having these women get inundated with abortion is good, abortion is good. Heaven forbid they hear an opposing point of view. And they won't show you these supposedly really bad signs except for those other ones. And they go, oh no, these are the signs they're talking about that triggered people. This is so fucked up. Yeah, that's really concerning. Oh no, and graphic signs, they mustn't show them. So what, actually showing a fetus at so many weeks that's within the abortion thing and show how it's a baby that's really graphic? Or, oh, I don't know, maybe showing what an abortion looks like and what you're doing when you're putting that kid, with a hand, when the doctor's going in there with a hand mixer? Oh no, actually show them what an abortion entails. Because, oh no, that might actually make them think twice about it and go, holy shit, that's murdering a baby. Jessica, you're a piece of shit. They show what it actually is. They have signs that explain it. They do stuff like that. Oh no, we can't have that. In the last decade, ADF attorneys argued in favor of state-sanctioned sterilization for trans people at European Court of Human Rights. Their brief argued equal dignity does not mean that every sexual orientation warrants equal respect. Now, this is a lie. That's not what they did. Okay? That's not what they did at all. Okay. This is from the SPLC. I highlighted the section. See, these were laws where in order for someone to change their gender on their license in France, they had to go through their transition. They had to have their surgeries. Which, as part of their surgeries, they would end up sterile. Because they remove, on the note of a male to female, your nuts get chopped off. On the note of a female to male, they remove the ovaries and they give a complete and full hysterectomy. Okay? Having that context, let's look at this. One paragraph here. These laws came out of an earlier period when the medical and psychological fields had only just started to grapple with the rights of transgender people. I love how they frame this. This is the SPLC. The French sterilization law was the result of a 1990 ECTHR decision based on a 1982 petition that ruled the state must provide proper identification for transgender citizens. In response, the state created a system whereby the change of gender on documents was only available to trans people who went through a very specific medical setting, leading to genital surgery and sterilization. Because if you get your transition surgery and you get your outie turned into an innie, the nuts go bye-bye. If you're going female to male, you're not going to need an ovary, or two, I should say. You're not, because I was thinking uterus, but you're not going to need a uterus, a cervix, or anything like that, and that all gets yanked out. That's part of the surgery. It's not that you're getting sterilized because of it. Sterilized, in order for this to happen, for you to get your identity changed, you have to become sterile. You have to have the transition. So this dumb bitch, Jessica, is trying to make it sound like they're actually fighting for sterilization when they're saying, okay, you want to be called a woman. Well, then, if you're going to be called a woman, you don't have a twig and berries. You don't swing with Bing, if you catch my drift. You got to have an innie instead of an outie. That's what they're saying. They're not calling for fucking sterilization. But here, I'll scroll through this real quick, and if you want, you can pause and read the whole thing yourself. And you can see how full of shit this is. I mean, seriously. This is the SPLC talking out their ass. But yeah, this is so friggin' shitty. But yeah, you can go through this if you want and read the whole thing. And yeah. But let's get back to the article. So I've proven they're full of shit with their own link. In Belize, the group sided with another organization pushing to criminalize gay sex. No source for that. In India, the executive director applauded a Supreme Court decision ruling gay sex illegal that was struck down in 2018. Okay. Heritage Foundation, Media Matters. Is that the same one? Or is that the... Yeah, it is. Okay. So, in this BBC article, nowhere, I mean nowhere, does it say anything about the organization saying anything like that. Okay, nothing in this. Nothing there. Let's go to the Heritage Foundation Media Matters thing. Okay? Now, this is all a bunch of like fluff bullshit that this Brianna January wrote. Then you get in to what they actually said, and they go by person. Madeline Kearns, the National Review Institute. All right, denied the existence of trans people, saying, of course a person cannot literally change from one sex to the other. Well, they can't literally change from one sex to the other. Said trans women are men and there's nothing wrong with being a man. Well, they are biologically men. Called LGBTQ advocacy organization Human Rights Campaign a force of tremendous harm in this country. What's wrong with that? Suggested drag sexualizes children, asking why would we invite salacious interests in children by dressing them up in drag? Reasonable. And this goes on and on. Georgia Konjinsky, none of the stuff she said is really out of line. You know, talks about drag queen story hour, which the funny thing is a lot of these drag queens are being found out to be child fucking sex predators who are registered. Oh, but no, there's nothing wrong with, drag queen story hour. Oh, so what if the drag queen wants that little boy to sit on his lap or that little girl? Give me a break. Okay, you can read George's comments here. Rebecca Fredericks called trans inclusive education child abuse and also the abuse of parents and religious abuse. Yeah, nothing. It's all taken out of context too. This is what's fucked up. I mean, this is so sad. Misgendered trans students. Oh no. Rebecca misgendered a trans student. Oh no. Said government unions do not belong in our government or our schools. Oh no, she should be taken out and put on a wall for that. Oh no. I mean, and nowhere. I read through all of this. We'd be here forever. That's why I'm scrolling through. Now here's Stephanie. You can read through Stephanie's stuff. Pause and read through it. Lamented Planned Parenthood's involvement in sex ed curriculums. Oh, no. I'm just picking random ones from each person. I love this. Erroneously claimed that the Equality Act would possibly mandate a comprehensive sex ed is taught in schools. Actually, it would. It would require that boys are in girls' locker rooms and bathrooms. That it would. Because all they have to say is I'm trans. It will require that the LGBTQ curriculum is taught in all subjects, not just comprehensive sex ed, because you're discriminating if you're not addressing it. That is true. It would require insurance coverage of gender transition services. It would require religious organizations and churches to hire people who are not living out their faith-based values and principles. So it is very wide-reaching. All of it true. See, they go and they say, oh, no, I won't do that. They get it passed, and then they go, Your Honor, that law says that we can do this. But they told us. Well, it says that. Derek Max. All right. Schools are not a place for social experiments. I don't find that shocking. Claims sex education is dangerous and drives the education literally to the lowest common denominator. I love how they're taking stuff out of context for that. Said LGBT inclusive education only creates greater confusion. It does. Declared the Bible is very specific about the father of confusion and chaos, and I don't think this is by accident. So he made a religious statement. Oh, wow. Okay, so Emily Zenos, Hand Across the Aisle Coalition, said that when her school implemented inclusive policies, girls' restrooms had to be transformed from places meant to serve bodily needs into places where it meant to substantiate a chosen identity, and frightened kindergartners and started asking their parents if they too would suddenly become the opposite sex. That's something a kid would do. And you won't damage kids. Said that kids are, that are taking puberty blockers will end up chemically sterilized. Yeah, they will. Because their nuts aren't going to develop, or their ovaries. Holy shit. Benedette Boyle, pause, read it. Wade Hader, ex-trans activist. This is someone who was actually a trans activist. This is someone who was for this. They don't like that Walt here said that affirming children into a cross-gender identity is child abuse. Let's be honest. It's not physical abuse, but it's psychological abuse. It's emotional abuse. It's sexual abuse. We cannot kid ourselves any longer, and our children are being destroyed. Joseph Zanga, American College of Pediatricians, which they don't like that organization, said, oh, no, it's just deceptively, it's a fake organization, and they're just anti-LGBTQ. Now, this is what's funny. Matt Sharp, and this is what's... A lot of people would agree with this that have half a fucking brain. Okay, with his. Now, you can read his last ones here, but... invoked the unvalidated hypothesis of rapid onset gender dysphoria that claims that trans youth are coming out due to social contamination. You mean trans trenders? That's a fucking thing there, buddies. That's a fucking thing. But anyway, I just wanted to show you. This is how dishonest they are. Nowhere in that. And you can pause it and look. That's why I did that. Did they fucking say what Jessica's claiming? In Romania, ADF pushed for a referendum to oppose same-sex civil unions. In Jamaica, ADF attorneys defended anti-sodomy laws. You notice there's no links for that, any of that. And even if it was, as you can see, as I've shown, it wouldn't back them anyway, I'm betting. Meanwhile, in U.S. states, the group has worked to craft legislation and defend religious freedom laws. These laws often give secular public-facing businesses the right to refuse customers or perform services. Not true. That's in one particular instance, baking a fucking wedding cake because the person's a Christian, doesn't believe in gay marriage, and was targeted specifically by lesbians that said, we're going to get a free fucking honeymoon. Go fuck yourself. Oh, excuse me. Now, in the years since public sentiment and the law has swung in favor of same-sex marriage, groups who once opposed legal unions have worked on to curtail trans rights. Many have honed in on trans girls in particular and alleged dangers they cause to cis women. Oh, no. Now we're going to bring it back to that. Oh, no. People who have transitioned often have gender dysphoria, a recognized medical condition in which sex assigned at birth is incongruent with a person's gender identity. Oh, wait a minute. I thought that's what they had to have in order to transition their fucking gender. Most of them only have it now. So are you admitting there are trans trenders who fucked up? Is that what you're saying, Jessica? ADF's Connecticut lawsuit claims 3 cis female high school runners are being unfairly outcompeted by 2 trans sprinters, Terry Miller and Andrea Yearwood. If you're going to do fucking Andrea, Spell it fucking right. Oh, I'm special. I'm trans and I spell my name Andrea funny. Jesus Christ. The essence of this argument is, if you protect transgender people, this violates the rights of other people, said Chase Strangio, Deputy Director for Trans Justice in the American Civil Liberties Union. The ACLU is representing the trans girls named in the lawsuit. Yes, if you protect transgender people, you're violating the rights of others. You cannot have their rights infringe upon the other people's fucking rights. That's how it works. I remember when the ACLU realized shit like that, and the ACLU wasn't like leftist shitbag central. Those days are long gone. The lawsuit seeks to establish a chromosomal standard for girls, high school sports that sorry. My earphones were falling off. The lawsuit seeks to establish a chromosomal standard for girls' high school sports that only people with XX chromosomes would be able to compete, Strangio said. Yes, and that's how it should be, regrettably. Because trans students from male to female have a biological advantage over those students who were born and are physically, biologically female. The starting premise is that trans girls are not girls, and the second premise is that boys are always better, stronger, and faster than girls. That's not a premise. That's a biological fact. That when it comes to sports, like running, they have biological advantages that make them faster and stronger and better at it than girls. That's why when Anna Kasparian, who's in a lot better shape than the fat fuck Cenk to run a mile, got her ass kicked by a fat, slovenly, out-of-shape piece of shit. Those are the breaks. And it's not saying that they're always better. In this particular type of venue, yes. You're making it sound like, oh, well, in everything. Yearwood and Miller issued statements vehemently defending their right to run in girls' events. I have faced discrimination in every aspect of my life, and I no longer want to remain silent, Miller said. I'm a girl and I'm a runner. No, you're biologically a boy, and you like the fact that you're kicking the shit out of girls on the track and field, on the track. That's what it is. Connecticut has had plenty of trans athletes who are good or fine or bad, said Strangio. What's rare is having two examples of transgender girls who are good, and that's what bothers people. No! Oh my God. Excuse me. But when every time you have a transgender that's going from boy to girl, when it comes to sports, whether it's track and field, wrestling, whatever else, they kick the fucking shit out of the biological girls. That's a fact. Unless they're complete and total shit at the sport. But then they wouldn't even make the team. Unless we're talking about it's a participation generation style recruiting policy for sports teams at a particular school, then it might be a different story. You try to say, oh, well, that's what's bothering people. They're good. No, it's the fact that they have an unfair advantage. Let's be honest. The ADF was founded in 1995 by a who's who of white anti-gay Christian men. Oh, my God. Among them are men like D. James Kennedy, the late pastor of a Florida megachurch who played a critical role in the rise of conservative Christianity in the U.S. I love how you make this accusation, but you don't like physically cite any examples. But you give examples when you try to push a bullshit narrative you hope people won't check, and nowhere in them do they fucking say what you said. You're a sleazy piece of shit, Jessica. And The Guardian? What, you don't have any editors that can't research shit and go, oh, wow, this is complete bullshit. We might not even be able to fool our own fuckwit morons who read us. Yeah, you didn't do that.
The group's 800-pound gorilla, in Clarkson's words, is James Dobson. His large and influential organization focused on the family as opposed to same-sex marriage for decades. Fellow founder Alan Sears wrote the 2003 book, The Homosexual Agenda, exposing the principal threat to religious freedom today. And what's funny is, we're seeing religious freedom attacked in the name of LGBTQ, AEIOU, and sometimes Y. When the First Amendment clearly says that you have freedom of religion in this country and that the government shall not infringe on it, but you want the government to do that. Sad. You think you're on the right side of things and you're not. So sad. ADF's legal work has earned the group glowing reviews from friendly media such as Fox News, where host Laura Ingraham recently included Holcomb on her high-profile show. But ADF's Connecticut lawsuit is, in part, an acknowledgement that earlier tactics has failed. How? They're literally going and defending girls who are getting the shit kicked out of them on high school level sports by biological men who go, I'm a woman. And they might be transitioning, they might have gender dysphoria, they might be transgenders. That's beside the point. Biologically, they are men. They have an unfair physical advantage over the girls. And you don't have a problem being a woman, Jessica, that women are getting their ass handed to them by a man, by a biological man. Because biology don't lie. Your genes don't lie. Biologically male. Just a few years ago, Christian legal groups were pushing bathroom bills across the country. The laws would have banned trans people from using the public toilet of their choice, arguing that women would be in danger from other trans women. There's no evidence to support the claim. Oh, bullshit! Excuse me? Plenty of people have been caught saying they're trans women who turned out to be fucking pervs, who were going into the ladies' room to get their fucking rocks off. Oh, Target had a problem with it. Walmart had a problem with it. So don't even. Oh my God, you sleazy lying sack of shit. This is why you're fake news. So the arrest after fucking arrest of perverts saying I'm a woman? Oh, shit. The fact that girls in school don't feel safe in their bathrooms? You don't care about that? Jesus Christ. The altar of woke. Oh, Jesus. Bathroom bill referendums filed in Massachusetts, California, and Alaska, and legislative efforts tanked, and many more. Failed in Massachusetts, California, and Alaska, and legislative efforts tanked, and many more, including conservative states like Alabama and Arkansas. In place of the bathroom bills, ADF's new Connecticut law has put faces and names to those who it alleges are victimized by inclusive policies. They are. Holy shit, it's not alleged. They physically are. You have two biological men, boys, who say they're women, who are competing in girls' track, who are kicking the ever-loving shit out of every other fucking person competing. All the real women. That's not alleges. That's factual. This is so fucking ridiculous. Other groups such as the American Principles Project are testing the electoral success of this message in states like Kentucky. The group is running adverts which argue trans girls would destroy women's sports in an effort to re-elect the Republican incumbent governor. So stating a fact that biological men in girls' sports are going to dominate them and fuck over the girls. Not literally, obviously, these days at least. But yeah, okay. That's a problem, pointing that out. Okay, because the truth hurts. The group's president, Frank Cannon, told New York Times last year that polling showed that messaging emphasizing sports, especially children in sports, was more likely to move the needle with voters. It gives people the idea that you're taking something away from people, and that's where they don't like it. Because you are taking away something. You're taking away the ability for those women to compete against other biological women, to see who's the best, to possibly get college scholarships, all right, to get scouted by colleges. So even if they don't get scholarships, they might get, a good college looking at them because they do have decent in track. Come on now. That's definitely taking away from them. One of the 3 cis runners at the center of the lawsuit, Chelsea Mitchell, recently won against Miller in a 55-meter race. So far, ADF has refused to take a position on trans men's competing in cis men's sports. Because they get their ass kicked, and if they want to compete in that and get their ass kicked, I guess they're saying that's up to them. I'm not going to take a position on that at this point, said Holcomb. Holcomb said. What? Wow, Jessica. Bad fucking English here. I'm not going to take a position on that at this point, said Holcomb said. Wow. What we are really clear on is it is not fair for males to compete in the female category. Yeah, that's not fair. The largest ever study of how trans athletes perform after transitioning is still being conducted in the UK. But it only includes 20 people. The largest study in the history of the largest ever study. And there's only 20 fucking people. Real good sample size. That's fucking huge. Oh, Jesus. Until we have several of these larger scale studies done worldwide, it's hard to be truly definitive on anything. The medical physicist Joan Harper told the CBC, no, when you watch Fallon Fox destroy the fucking skull of an actual woman. Enough fucking said. Jesus Christ. Of course, Harper is a trans woman, a long-distance runner, and an advisor to the International Olympic Committee. Oh, fuck me. Oh, it looks like the Olympics are going to be going trans. She said she saw her own performance drop off after hormone therapy, and that such could be the case with other trans athletes. It might drop off, okay, but are you still performing better than women? Number one, actual physical biological women. Number one. Number two, do you have a physical structure that is designed better for those sports than a biological woman? Number three, do you or do you not think that could give you an advantage? Oh, wait, you never answer that. This is so fucking ridiculous. No openly trans person has ever competed in the Olympics, although it has been allowed since 2004 under guidelines laying out how much testosterone an athlete can have in their body. But that rule is too being challenged, not by a trans athlete or a Christian group, but by a South African intersex running star. Intersex people are born with anatomy that doesn't easily fall into male or female. Actually, yes, it does. They are either more biologically a male or more biologically a female. If you're more one over the other, that's what you biologically tend to lean towards. We get down to the micro details of this abortion case or the LGBTQ plus case or the prayer in schools. Well, we get down to micro details of this abortion case or that LGBTQ plus case or prayer in schools. But those are details, Clarkson said. It may use nationalist ideas when you're working within a specific culture and legal code, but their religious and political vision is global and needs to be understood in that context. Why is this quote thrown at the end? There's no context for it. Is there something missing here, Jessica? And the thing is, so what you're saying with that quote there, Christianity is a global thing? Well, yeah, religion is a global thing. It transcends borders. Okay? Doesn't matter if it's Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Taoism, Falun Gong. Don't matter. It transcends a national border. Religious belief is religious belief. It's common ground. And that's what scares you. But this isn't about religion. This is about the fact of particular groups getting privileged treatment. Anyway, this has been one of my longest videos in a while. I think I've covered this well enough. So I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.